Hello students of class 10, welcome to our geography period, and today let us start with the drainage system of India, and we are on page number 21. Drainage of India. Rivers in India are largely classified according to the source region into Himalayan and peninsular rivers. That means the river system in India is classified into two types. That is, one is the Himalayan rivers, okay, and then second is the peninsular rivers. Himalayan rivers and peninsular rivers. Himalayan drainage. Most of the major rivers in the Himalayas originate from various glaciers. In summers, when glaciers melt, the discharge of water increases in summer. They flood during monsoons too. They are perennial rivers. So what are perennial rivers? Rivers that have water abundant in them throughout the year. That is, they have water in summer season too. So in monsoon season they receive water from the rainfall, right? And then in summer season, what happens is, due to extreme heat, the snow or the ice in the Himalaya starts melting. So this melted ice or water goes and meets the rivers, and therefore the water level increases in these respective rivers that flow or that originate in from the Himalayas, and therefore they are called as perennial rivers because they have water throughout the year in them. The drainage covers two major river systems such as Sindhu river system. Let me tell you, Sindhu is also called as river Indus, okay, river Indus, and Ganga river system. So where is Indus? That means river Indus. Where is Sindhu river? Sindhu river originates here in Tibet, okay, on the Tibetan plateau, and then she enters like this in India through Jammu and Kashmir, and then from Jammu and Kashmir what happens, she takes a turn and she flows. And which part of the country is this? This is Pakistan then. So that means river Indus, that is river Sindhu, flows through three different countries, that is through Tibet, India and Pakistan. Fine. And what do they say further? And this is the Ganga river system. Fine. This is Gangotri. That means this is the origin point of river Ganga. This is the place from where river Ganga originates. This is called as Gangotri. So this is river Ganga, and we know that river Ganga is the longest river in India. Fine. And you can see that there are so many tributaries. These are all her tributaries here in the from the southern part, okay, from this part, and there are so many rivers that join from the northern part also. So river Indus and river Sindhu are the main major river systems in the northern part of our country. Sindhu and its tributaries. What are the names of our tributaries? Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi and Satluj drain the western Himalayas. That is, they flow through the state of Jammu and Kashmir. They flow almost parallel to each other. So this is river Indus, which is also called as river Sindhu, okay. This is how her journey is. This is Pakistan, and these all are her tributaries. You can see them. They originate here in Jammu and Kashmir river Jhelum, okay, then river Chenab, river Ravi, river Satluj. They are all river Indus or river Sindhu's tributaries. That means they give their waters, they contribute their water to river Indus. And can you see then that they are flowing parallel to each other, isn't it? They flow in the westward direction and they are parallel to each other. A major tributary of river Sindhu, the Satluj. Which is the major tributary of river Sindhu? It is the Satluj. So where is Satluj? We will see. Originates near Mansarovar and flows westward. Fine. Originates here. River Satluj. Where do we see river Satluj? I can see it here. Yes, here. Okay. So again it is here in Tibet. This is Lake Mansarovar. From here she originates and then she enters India. And this is how she runs through Satluj and then enters Pakistan over here. Fine. So this is one of the important tributaries of river Indus. Punjab plains have formed from the depositional work of this river and its tributaries. Sindhu flows through Pakistan and then meets the Arabian Sea. The river Ganga originates from the Gangotri glacier and crosses the Himalayas to become an east-flowing river. Many tributaries of the Ganga also flow in a similar manner. Yamuna, originating at Yamunotri, is a major tributary of Ganga. Another major tributary of the Ganga flows through the northern part of the Greater Himalayas, crosses the Himalayas to enter India. When it flows through the Himalayas, it is called Sangpo. T is silent here, so we will read it as Sangpo or Sangpo. When it crosses the Himalayas, it is called Dihang, and its eastward flow thereafter is called as Brahmaputra. It is not eastward, it will be westward. So they are talking about river Brahmaputra. So they say that one of the another major tributary of the Ganga river flows through the northern part of the Greater Himalayas and crosses the Himalayas to enter India. So this is what they are talking about. They are talking about river Sangpo. River Sangpo is here. It originates here from Lake Rakas, which is very close to Lake Mansarovar in Tibet. And look at the length of this river. It originates here, okay, and then it flows eastward. It flows eastward and then it enters Arunachal Pradesh. When it enters Arunachal Pradesh, it is called as river Dihang, and then not westward, it takes the westward turn. It is written as eastward turn, but it is westward. It takes a western turn, and here it is called as river Brahmaputra, and here she joins river Ganga, okay. So hence she is one of the major tributaries of river Ganga. So please make the correction. It will be westward. So thereafter is called as Brahmaputra. From time to time, Ganga meets its tributaries, hence its discharge increases. Ganga receives Brahmaputra as its tributaries in its lower reaches in Bangladesh. The huge volume of water and huge deposition has led to the formation of large delta. Besides these Himalayan rivers, Ganga receives a number of tributaries from peninsula like Chambal, Kain, Betwa, Shon, Damodar, etc. So I showed you about the number of tributaries that flow towards the northern direction and meet river Ganga, right? These are the rivers. River Chambal, river Sindh, river Betwa, river Kain, river Shon. So they meet river Ganga here. Now, okay, peninsular rivers. The peninsular river systems can further be divided into east flowing, that is meeting the Bay of Bengal, and west flowing meeting the Arabian Sea. The Western Ghats form a major water divide in the peninsula. The peninsular rivers, being rain-fed rivers, seldom face the problem of floods. They are seasonal in nature. So unlike the rivers, that is the Himalayan rivers, these peninsular rivers receive water only during the monsoon, and hence they are called as rain-fed rivers. Therefore, they seldom have floods in them. They seldom means very rarely they face problems of floods. Fine. And they are seasonal in nature. That means if the rainfall is good, that time they will have abundant water, and if if there is extreme heat in the monsoon, in the summer season, they will dry up. So that is why they are called as they are seasonal in nature. The west flowing rivers, that is the rivers that empty their waters in the Arabian Sea. The west flowing rivers occupying the area between the Western Ghats and the Arabian coastline are short in length but swift. This condition of short and swift river system exists in the states of Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra and southern Gujarat. Further northwards, one comes across the river system flowing into the Gulf of Khambat. These river systems are Tapi, Narmada, Mahi and Sabarmati. Tapi and Narmada flow slowly through rift valleys. Mahi river flows from northeast to southwest direction, whereas river Sabarmati, collecting its headwaters from the southern slopes of Aravalli ranges, flows in somewhat north-south direction. Another noteworthy river forming the catchment of Arabian Sea is river Luni. It originates along the western slopes of Aravalli range and flows in somewhat northwest to southeast direction and flows into Gulf of Kutch. So please refer the map in order to understand the flow, the number of rivers and their origin and the direction they flow. Rivers meeting the Bay of Bengal. Most of the area of the peninsula is drained by the rivers flowing towards the Bay of Bengal. The important river systems in this group are Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. So these are the east flowing rivers. Fine. And hence they empty their waters in the Bay of Bengal. Mahanadi basin occupies the northeastern part of the peninsula. Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri originate in the eastern slopes of the Western Ghats. So although they originate in the Western Ghats, but they actually originate in the eastern slopes of the Western Ghats. That is, here are the Western Ghats. Okay, let's say these are the Western Ghats. But where do these rivers originate? In the eastern part of the Western Ghats, and therefore they flow like this, and thereafter they meet the Bay of Bengal. Fine. Then river Godavari is the second largest river system of India in terms of the catchment area. So this is the second largest river in India in terms of the catchment area. To the south of Godavari is located the basin of river Krishna. Its major tributaries are Bhima and Tungabhadra. River Kaveri basin flows through the states of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. It is one of the major rivers of peninsula. Which one? River Kaveri. It is a river that has been harnessed for irrigation since a long time. Means this particular river, that is river Kaveri, is very much useful when in the case of irrigation. So this is the end of the lesson. We finished the lesson of physiography and drainage over here. Please listen to watch the videos carefully, and again I repeat, please write to me in case of any difficulties. So we will discuss the question answers in the next session. So till then, goodbye. Thank you.